Hello, welcome to my team builder in battle for week 1 of the PCL Division 2, otherwise known as, I guess, the Generations League. My opponent this week is Sam STJ and the Dallas Staraptors. His team consists of Charizard X, Landorus Therian, Florges, Skarmory, Jellicent, Porygon Z, Garbodor, Bisharp, Ditto, Tangela, and Avalugg. Pretty scary team in many regards. He's just got a lot of strong mons and a sturdy wall core. His speed tiers aren't exactly the greatest, but his mons are relatively bulky enough to take advantage of a good chunk of my offensive core. I expect a pretty bulky team to show up to this game, with Charizard X acting as the win condition probably. Maybe SD Bisharp thrown in there. But I do expect to see stuff like the Florges and the Skarmory to help deal with Lele plus Urshifu. I'm expecting like a max speed Zard, and a defensive Landorus, which pairs really well with the Florges because you can just wish into it. Maybe another offensive Wincon and then like Ditto or something. Or maybe the Jellicent can show up. I wasn't fully expecting it to show up because it's kind of Urshifu food. But if it's Colbur Berry, Dazzling Gleam, that's a relatively decent lure. You can run like Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Strength Sap, and Wisp or something along those lines. Energy Ball maybe. And yeah, he'd be pretty good there. Let's just get right into the team I built for this battle. First of all, the specs Lele. Like I said, his speed tiers are to which his fastest mount is Zard X. And I feel like that's going to be max speed Jolly to speed tie with Jirachi potentially, or at least enough speed for Urshifu. So I think this Mon's everything else is outsped by this Mon unless he brings a Scarfer, and nothing on his team really wants to switch into Psychic besides Bisharp, which gets spot by Focus Blast. So T-Bolt's there for the combination of Jellicent and Skarmory. I kind of wanted to fit Aromatherapy in that slot because T-Bolt kind of leaves me vulnerable to Charizard and Lando, but I felt like T-Bolt was too necessary. I didn't do enough damage to Spadef. Jellicent was Psychic, so kind of wanted the coverage move for it, and I also want to be able to not get fucked by Ditto, so I just didn't run Shadow Ball. Plus, I want to be able to hit the Skarm with something super effective. Next, we have a physically defensive fast Swampert. So this is enough speed, so I outspeed Garbodor that has like 12 speed in it, I think. Fully special this week because I'm expecting to get burned by either the Jellicent or the Charizard, and I can still do consistent damage with this. Toxic's there to catch the Jellicent. Rocks are obviously really good for the matchup. I need to wear down that Charizard, and it's good for his offensive mons, specifically the PZ and the Lando. If he's not running heavy-duty boots on the Landorus, this is a really good stopgap for it. Scald catches whatever, burns a lot of his team, and then Earth Power does consistent damage to Charizard. Pretty straightforward, just in case he's got Wisp, Dragon Dance, or something like that. Next, we have a physically defensive Zapdos. Again, good check to Landorus. It's really good against Bisharp. It's really good against Charizard. Those are the main three things I'm afraid of. It also soft checks PZ. If it's like Silk Scarf, Tri Attack doesn't kill me from like 80%, or after Rocks, I think, with max HP. So this is just good. It's got 4 moves. Toxic's there to 1v1 the Florges. Hurricane is consistent damage against the Lando and the Charizard. And it's pretty okay for the Bisharp, but that's why Whirlwind is there. I was considering Heat Wave, but I also wanted to be able to potentially stop a DDing Zard, a sub DD Zard with something on this Mon, so I put Whirlwind on there. It's pretty straightforward. Next we have a Max Jirachi. Speed ties obviously with the Charizard, and that's what Meteor Beam is for. It's a really strong Mon against his team. The coverage moves, Psychic, Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, they just kind of rip through him a little bit. They do really well, so it's pretty straightforward. And it outspeeds like Lando and shit, so outspeeds everything except for Zard. Next we have Urshifu. This is the biggest threat to his team. This is why I feel like he has to bring Florges and Skarm to this game. I got Bulk Up, Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch, Wicked Blow, and Poison Jab on here. I could have run Drain Punch, but I feel like Bisharp is frail enough to where a +1 Wicked Blow will do enough to it and it'll let me kill it. I'm adamant because I outrun pretty much everything not named Porygon Z and Lando. I don't fully expect the PZ, and then if +1, I can just live anything from Landorus anyway, unless he's got Focus Blast, which I don't think is that great of a bring for this game. So yeah. This set also allows me to 1v1 Ditto potentially, because I do quad resist the Wicked Blow, so I can potentially get up a few bulk ups on that and Poison Jab it down. So yeah. And obviously Poison Jab's there for mostly the Florges, but it also hits Tangela harder, relatively hard, so I don't have to waste Wicked Blows on that thing. And finally, we have an Adamant. Floats, this thing outruns everything on his team. Crunch versus Irontail was a debate I had for a while, but I eventually decided to put Irontail on there because being able to clear that Florges will let me do a lot of work with Psychic on Lele and Wicked Blow on Urshifu. So in the end, I decided to put Irontail on there if he decides to switch into that for whatever reason. And Taunt stops the Jellicent from sapping and recovering. So let's get right into the game, eh? So my opponent elected to bring Charizard. What is that? That's a Florges. Bisharp, Jellicent, Skarmory, and PZ. So not really a team of 6 I expected to see. I expected to see 4 of these Mons, being the Bisharp, the Skarm, the Florges, and the Charizard. But I really didn't think the PZ was going to come. It does hurt my team quite a bit. But I feel like if it's going to come, it's probably just going to be locked into a Scarf set. Probably Trick, Tri-Attack, Shadow Ball, and Hyper Beam. Maybe Nasty Plot, maybe Recover in the last slot. Yeah, it's pretty annoying for my team to deal with if it's Trick Scarf, but I should be able to handle that relatively easily. If it's Specs, it's obviously a problem. I didn't fully prepare for Specs PZ because I didn't expect that to show up, but you know, if that's a thing, then fuck. And then the Jellicent I didn't expect, but it kind of makes sense. I think I was expecting either Ditto or Tangela in that slot. Because Tangela, surprisingly good switch in for Specs Psyshock on Lele, can Sludge Bomb me. Surprisingly decent check to Urshifu, can poison me, can paralyze me, can sleep me, can do all those things. But Jellicent, if it's not Colbur Dazzling Gleam, I'll be kind of worried, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Spadef at the very least to help deal with Tapu Lele. So I'm going to lead with my Jirachi here, I think. Yeah, I believe so. And because it has a good matchup against a lot of the Mons on his team, and I do expect the Skarm to lead off. So I do lead with Jirachi, he leads with Skarm. I'm going to go for T-Bolt because it's pretty free. Nothing really wants to switch into this as I get the Para, which is pretty nice. Going to T-Bolt again as he brings in the Bisharp hard. So that's pretty much a screamer that it's Assault Vest, you know, added by the fact that I T-Bolted it. Pretty risky bringing this in like this because I could potentially have Aura Sphere on this. I can take a Sucker Punch. He doesn't know if I'm Colbur Berry. He doesn't know if I'm Aqua Berry. He doesn't know my item. And if he's Assault Vest, he can't one-shot me with Sucker. But me switching out here should pretty much scream to him that I don't have Aura Sphere. Although I think it actually did kill Assault Vest Bisharp because I was an offensive Jirachi, so I don't know. I'm going to go into Zapper. I'm going to take the knockoff I figured was coming, but being able to dodge rocks at least once is nice. Going to Roost Step as he brings in his Florges, which is perfectly okay with me. Going to go for the Toxic, not really expecting the Aromatherapy to come out, but that is what he clicks. That's pretty unfortunate. I'm just going to go for another Toxic because I don't think he can really do much to me as he does just Moonblast. So going to switch out. I could try and preserve health on this, but I'm expecting another Moonblast. So I go to my Jirachi, but he actually doubles into Bisharp, which is pretty smart. Both expecting a potential Roost there or thinking I would go into Jirachi on the Moonblast. So that was a pretty good play on his part. So I'm gonna be forced back into my Zapper here. So he goes to the knockoff. I'm going to get pretty lucky and get the Static Para on the second possible instance where it could happen, as he makes a very, very aggressive switch into his PZ. So if this is a boosting item like Silk Scarf or Specs, he will kill me here pretty much, I think. Or Life Orb. I think he'll kill me here. Actually, let me double check that calc just to be 100% sure. Yeah, if he is a like anything but a boosting item, like if he has a boosting item of some sort, he kills me flat out. But if he has, let's say like a Chopple Berry or a Choice Scarf, which I do expect this to be Choice Scarf, he can't kill me unless he gets an absolute max roll. So I am going to try and go for the Hurricane here as he's going to try attack, and he is going to freeze me as he reveals to not have a boosting item of any kind. So I'm thinking Scarf, so I'm thinking I need to keep health on Lele in the back. Probably keep Urshifu relatively healthy as well to take a Tri-Attack from this thing. Keep my Mons as safe as possible. So the freeze really sucks. The Hurricane damage would have been really nice on this. But, you know, that's Pokemon, I guess. So I'm going to go into Jirachi, tank the Tri-Attack, potentially scare him out with a T-Wave here. Something along those lines. I know it's a 3 KO, but, you know, I'm pretty much grasping at straws because PC is a threat. I'm going to go for Psychic as he brings in this thing, and that damage shows me that it's Spadef. So I'm expecting a Wisp to come out here, so I just want to go for T-Bolt, try and force him to Psychic, And here I'm going to switch, or no, I'm going to Meteor Beam. So I expected him to recover or go into Charizard there. I don't know why I expected him to go into Charizard. I just clicked Meteor Beam because I wanted to be able to break the Jellicent. I expected to recover a Strength Sap, but he's going to sack off his Florges. That really opens the door for my Urshifu. Here, pretty much a 50-50. He could Sucker Punch, which he does, obviously. I could have sacked off my Zapdos there and saved this to take a Tri-Attack from the PZ later on. And I figured if I can punish him going for a silly play like knocking off or Iron Heading here, expecting a switch. I don't know. I just felt like staying in there was okay, but he does go for the Sucker Punch, and he's going to knock me out, so that's pretty unfortunate. I'm going to go to my Swampert. I fully expect the Skarmory to come in here, so I'm just going to click Scald, but he stays in and goes for knockoff, which was pretty annoying. But since he shows he's willing to sack this, which is, to me, that's pretty weird, because I could just lock myself in a Psychic with Lele and pretty much fuck his team at this point. If I'm Scarfed like Modest or something. So unless that is Scarf PZ and he gets damage on my Lele somehow, he's up shit creek. So I'm gonna get up my rocks, and then I'm gonna sack my Zapdos, expecting another Sucker Punch here to bring in my Urshifu. And so I'm gonna bulk up as he doesn't get fully parried, and he crits me with an Iron Head. So that's really unfortunate. This means that I am in range of Dragon Claw from Charizard or Flare Blitz. He's going to go into Skarm. He's actually going to let me kill it, which is really good for Floatzel and stuff, if he couldn't Roost or anything. So that's pretty nice. He's going to let it go down. He's going to go into Zard. I'm going to try and sucker this thing because I'm expecting an attack, but he goes for Wisp and he misses. So I make a really stupid play here and go for another Sucker Punch. It was pretty obvious that he was just going to Wisp again. Like, if I Wicked Blowed here as he Wisps me, I kill him. And then at that point, like, PZ has to come in, kill me with Tri-Attack. And then Lele can pretty much clean up the game from there with Psychic, or even T-Bolt, because I have to Sucker Punch the PZ. If he tries to Nasty Plot, if he isn't Scarfed, I think I'm just going to pretty much click Wicked Blow from there and go into Lele, click Psychic, and then win the game. But if I just killed this Charizard, to be in a much better spot, but I don't, so I suffer the consequences. Burns me, goes for the Roost. Wicked Blow's still going to do 70 because it's not balanced in the slightest. And so here I'm just going to go for another one, as he just tries to stay healthy, but yeah, he's going to get down to 70%, 17%. Going to go into Floatzel here. Fully expect the Jellicent to come in, so I'm just going to click Taunt, but it works out because he clicks Roost instead of an attacking move, which is pretty nice. I thought he'd probably save this as a sack to see what I lock myself into with Lele, so that's why I taunted there. He's going to go into Jellicent. I'm going to Taunt again because it's pretty... I figured he's probably gonna go for Recover or Strength Sap, but he reveals the Giga Drain, which is pretty good prep over Energy Ball, because it still does damage and it lets him heal. But I'm gonna go for the Iron Tail, and then I'm gonna get Cursed Bodied and get a Defense Drop. So what that does for me is that it allows me to go into Lele and click Psyshock. If I didn't get that Defense Drop, I think he was still dead to it. But now he doesn't get to gauge what my set is, because Psyshock from Scarf Lele kills this. So if I'm not, let's say I'm Scarfed, he goes into PZ, he can Tri-Attack me, potentially get a Paralysis, live a Psyshock from Scarf Lele, and then two-shot me with Tri-Attack from there. He can potentially paralyze me. So if he's Scarfed on PZ even, that would be pretty good for him. And then Swampert doesn't live a Tri-Attack after Rocks. So he's going to go into Porygon Z, but he reveals to A, not be Scarfed, but that wouldn't have mattered unless he full parried or froze me again with Tri-Attack. I lived a Shadow Ball, I lived a Tri-Attack, I lived pretty much anything except like a Hyper Beam boosted. It wasn't a boosting item, so pretty sure he was Chople Berry, and I'm going to Psyshock, or Sash even, and knock that thing out and take a 2-0 victory. So it was a pretty good game. A bit of hacks on both sides. The Wisp misses on both the Jirachi and the first one on the Urshifu were pretty unfortunate, but that Wisp miss didn't matter because I didn't take advantage of it, and then the Jirachi one was just pretty unfortunate. So, but the freeze on my Zapdos kind of sucked, and so did the Iron Head crit on my Urshifu. But I mean, in the end, relatively even hacks wise, I would think. I ended up pulling out the win because Lele is too good to be true. So thanks for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Good game to Sam. My next opponent is Wire233, I think his numbers are. Coach of the Southern Swallots. So I'll see you then. Sayonara.